Strange New Worlds Season 3 beams in on July 17th. Unless you live in Europe. Then you're stuck. You're stuck waiting until September 12th. That's almost 2 months later. And yeah, that's already bad. But the full story? Oh, it gets worse. Originally, fans in Europe were bracing for an 18-day delay. The plan was August 4th. Not ideal, but maybe manageable. Now, that plan's gone. And fans are... Now, let me be clear. I am understandably pissed. The new season kicks off mid-Gorn attack, right where we left off. The trailer that we saw promises new alien worlds, high-stakes diplomacy, and Captain Pike, Anson Mount, in full command mode. It looks great, perfect for summer, except not for everyone. So, by the time some of us in Europe get the premiere, North America will be heading into the finale. That's 8 episodes of spoiler risk. We're talking twists, we're talking cameos, we're talking emotional beats. All of it ruined before fans even get to watch. A 1-week delay? Sure, I can deal with that. I can mute some YouTubers, skip some Reddit. But 2 months? By then the experience is over before it even starts. You know, this reminds me of a Reddit post/rant that I saw actually, I think it was about 3 years ago. Let me check it out. Yeah, I'm back. It was 3 years ago. And the funny thing is, you could copy and paste that Reddit thread and it still hits today. And some of the things the guy, gal, I don't know. But some of the things they said there, perfect. Paramount's treatment of international fans feels like a return to the 90s. Which definitely does. This was my favorite line. Now it's a bloomin' mess. Guess what? It still is. SNW sits at the top of the charts on illegal file sharing sites. Well, I don't visit those sites, but I think it's probably the same. You know, that comment, I remember that comment spreading through Reddit and I think it was still Twitter at the time. Because, you know, it really rings true. Trek fans outside of the US feel like second-class fans. Who cares? Look, I get it. The corporate strategy, Q3 planning, localization. That's a big word now in a big business. Localization. You know that some of us actually work in that world? But the problem with that is that this isn't sneakers. You're not selling shoes. It's storytelling. And in 2025, serialized stories need to launch together. If you're telling me that I need to avoid the internet for 2 months, you're only going to get the response, oh no, I'm not avoiding internet, I'm avoiding you. So the only thing I'm gonna walk away from is actually Strange New Worlds Season 3. And look, I know this sounds ranty, and I hate doing this because I love Star Trek and I really want to talk about fun stuff. This is probably why I shouldn't be doing the news part of the Star Trek. Maybe I should just go back and review and watch all the shows. Or something. But all of this is not happening in a vacuum. Skydance, that is supposed to be taking over Paramount sometime this year, or I don't know, at some point in the future, reportedly floated the idea of shelving track content for up to 10 years. Well, we kind of calculated it will be up to 10 years. And that alone kind of shook the fandom. You now add this delay, and it really starts to feel like Star Trek doesn't matter anymore. You know, the problem is that by the September 12th, every twist and surprise will be not only dissected online, but it will be dissected, put back together, and then dissected all over again. You know what? Even if you are lucky and you do all the things that need to be done in order for you to not see any spoilers, so you dodge all of them, the emotional hit is already gone. Watching then won't feel like a ride. It will feel like a recap. Sky Showtime, of course, is talking about localization and regional timing, and we all know that, and we have seen that. That's the reason why you had Sky Showtime having Prodigy in certain areas, but it didn't have Prodigy in other areas because Netflix had Prodigy here, and it's a mess. It always was a mess. And because of that, all of that sounds hollow. We get it. But I've been talking to some of the fans, and what they actually hear is, you know what? You don't matter enough to sync up with. And that's fine. You can have certain priorities. What is your biggest market? Look, we're talking about business. They want to make money, and I get it. So, okay, this is your priority when it comes to the market. This is where you make money. That's great. But here's the thing. Like that Reddit post, we don't live in 1990. And if you piss off somebody across the world and they start talking shit about this, that is actually going to influence your main markets. Because world is not local anymore. Everybody's obsessed with localizing. But world is not local anymore. So you can have an idiot like me talking shit about Star Trek from all across the Atlantic. And then you'll have people joining in from US who don't have a reason to be angry, but there are always people who want to be angry. And then it builds, and people who don't follow this stuff go on social media, and the only thing they see is idiots like me complaining about it. And that can influence your market. You have to stop thinking locally. You have to plan forward. You have to think about, okay, so if we release here, at that time, when can we release it there? Why can we do it sooner? Can we tweak things up? Again, we're not selling shoes, and I get it. Look, I know why they're so obsessed with the third quarter. Because that's the time when kids go back to school. That's the time that big companies sell a lot of things. You gotta get a new backpack, you gotta get new clothes, you gotta get new shoes, you gotta get all that stuff. That does not apply to storytelling. Look, and at the end of the day, so what? Q3 is really big here, but it's not big in America. Everything's gonna be spoiled. So, at the end of the day, all of this is a real shame. Strange New Worlds has been a breath of fresh air. It really was a standout in a post-Discovery era. And yes, I am complaining about Captain Kirk being basically glued to Enterprise and Captain Pike. And that's just me. But it was a good show. It had some really great moments, and it had some great potential. It was a standout. But even the best Trek can't survive behind a wall of regional delays. If Paramount wants a truly global audience, it has to act like it. Because if you don't, please don't be surprised when we all boldly go somewhere else. So, Captains, this was an interesting story. Now, hopefully we'll be getting some good news from Star Trek from time to time, so we'll have something fun to talk about. If you're interested in more stories like this, if you're generally interested in Trek content, please subscribe. Click the clicky bell that everybody clicks, but sometimes it doesn't work. And until next time, stay curious like you, stay honorable like a Klingon, logical like a Vulcan, and remember to never stop exploring the stars or imagining wild possibilities. Because we're Trekkies, that's what we do. See you in the next one.